What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I know you are missing some Hearthstone content, so today I am going to show you 5 or 6 decks to help complete some of the mini set achievements for the Perils on Paradise mini set, the traveling travel agency. Usually I try to 100% this before I make a video, but I'm going to be quite honest. I think the mini set achievements this time around are uninspired and lame. So I'm going to show you the decks that I used to complete the few that I did. The few that I have done so far, and I will still work on the rest, are Pedal to the Metal, which is to use the Spirit Peddler's effect on 30 minions. Druidic Staycation, which is to make a 12/12 bigger bear from Handle Bear. This is Fine, which is the Mage one. Play 50 cards that were lit on fire from the effect of Burn Down. Sharing is Caring, which is play 100 cards created by Agency Espionage. And 11th Hour, which is the Warlock one, destroy 30 minions with Deadline. They're all grindable ones except for the Druid one. So I'll show you some decks that I liked, that I thought were fun and were efficient in completing these. Another reminder, whenever you can, you should play a Brochure in your deck. So if you are playing a class that can play Priest, Shaman, or Druid, make sure you play Brochures in your deck. If you can fit Zephyrus, like if you have him, make sure you play Zephyrus in your deck. Because, you just want to be able to complete these over time. The one for Brochures is 80 Brochures. And, quite frankly, I doubt that a lot of people are playing a lot of Brochure cards right now. Unless maybe you're like a Shaman player. So anyway, do your best to try to play these cards as often as possible in your deck. And at the same time, if you have an opportunity to complete a quest by playing it as a tourist in another class, do the same. All right. So we'll cover that in a bit. I'm going to go straight to the deck list and I'll show you. Of course, you can find the deck list in the description. I want to preface this by saying I hit Legend before the mini set came out and I was at 2000 Legend or maybe like 1900, 1800 Legend. Today, I am at 18,000 Legend. Okay. 18,000, 19,000 legends. So for most of my experience grinding these quests, I have not been winning. But, there are some decks that I do think are pretty good. And, these new cards, they are kind of interesting. And maybe if they're more built around ideas, there's ways to kind of complete it, right? But, for now, I would say in most of my games, if I had the chance to win the game or delay the game in order to get 1 or 2 more tallies on a specific quest, then I would choose to delay the game and potentially lose in order to get more tallies. Because my goal is not winning, right? I'm already a legend. I'm not going to make top 500 legend, so I don't really care about the rank. Now I just want to get the quest done. So, I prioritize doing the quest as quick as possible. The first one here we're going to talk about is this deck. It's Bear plus Burn Quest. And this is basically spell OTK Mage or spell damage Druid, however you want to call it. And you see this list right here. This is very, very cool. And actually, I believe this archetype is super strong. And I also believe that Ungoro Brochure is a nuts card in it. And I think more people should play it. I'll explain it. Basically, the idea here is you want to get to later turns in the game where you've played a Mista Vista, and then you've just dropped a bunch of spell damage or whatever, like Seabreeze Chalices or Swipes or whatever, right? Or maybe Ramp, whatever, Sparkling File especially. The idea is to play Mista Vista, then play all of those cards so that 3 turns later, all of those cards are replayed, especially Sparkling File, because if Sparkling File is replayed twice, then that means your Awalonius on your turn 7 or 8 or whatever is only costing 3 mana. So you can play, you play Mista Vista on 5, a couple spell damage stuffs on 6, maybe some card draw or whatever on 7. Next turn, all of those things play off. Your Sparkling Files play off. Then you play Awalonius for 3, and then you just drop a bunch of Swipes and Seabreeze Chalices. It is incredibly effective as a deck. And 2 cards that they're not necessarily good in every situation, but they are helpful, or obviously the new cards for the achievement. So the first one is, where is that card? Burn Down. This is the Mage card. The idea for this achievement, you have to play the burned cards, okay? So this is great because when you reach the combo turn, you're just looking for more gas. So playing burn down in these situations is great. I would not play burn down unless I had drawn Mista Vista and Avalonius. I almost expressly never did that. This quest was easy to complete, especially in a deck like this, because cards are so cheap, you have so much mana. It's very easy to play these other cards in your hand. The other quest that I got completed with this deck was Ungoro Brochure, this one right here. That I'm working on was Ungoro Brochure. This one is great because you can ramp up your mana, then play Ungoro Brochure, and it'll draw you your 2 minions. Your only 2 minions are Mista Vista and Avalonius. So you'll always have them in your hand, and then you don't worry about having to burn them or burn down or whatnot. So this was really, really good in the deck. I really liked it. The other card that was in here is Where is Handle with a Bear. So this is for the Druid quest. You get 2 3/3 bears with taunt. If you're looking to complete this quest, you can really only do this against decks that are a lot slower, like, Reno Warrior or whatnot. But it's relatively easy. You play Handle with Bear on 2, and you just hold one of the bears in your hand until like turn 12 or whatever it may be, so that you have a 12/12 bear, and then you play them out. And it is actually pretty simple, as you can see in the video. So right here, this is a way to get 3 of the quests done. I'm still working on this Brochure one, but it's a cool deck. And I would say it's relatively competitive. I think this is actually a pretty good deck. It's not too bad. Good against all matchups. So that is that one. This one is an interesting one. This one revolves around this quest, which is Deadline. And Deadline is this tradable temporary spell. It's a shadow spell, and it destroys a minion. So originally, I had gone with many different builds, like a super crazy Death Knight, Deathrattle build, and then a rogue. I had a rogue deck that just drew a lot of cards so you could get Deadline faster. But this is really a weird card. If this is an opening hand, if you want to keep that card and not burn a card, you have to trade it, right? And if you draw this, like if you cycle this on 2 and then it comes back in your hand, you're going to burn it. So it's really a difficult card to use, especially if your opponent doesn't have creatures on the board. So what I did was I really just wanted to get the quests over with as quick as possible. So in this list here, you'll see this Deathrattle list, which is pretty interesting. It has the Tourist, the Summoner Dark Marrow, so that I have access to the Death Knight cards. And I think it was really cool. It's just you got this really nice curve, a lot of early game cards. But the real specialty here, especially for this Deadline quest, is this card right here, Sketch Artist. So when you play him, you draw a shadow spell, and you get a copy of the shadow spell, a temporary copy. So you only have one shadow spell in here, and that's Deadline. And I think that's great because if you play this on 7, which is usually the turn I do play him, I get 2 deadlines to remove things. So theoretically, you have 4 deadlines in one game to play. Very, very cool. If you wanted to make the deck better, you would add Defile to this, because you would combine this with something like Eternal Layover into a Defile. So anyway, this deck actually works out pretty good. I would play it more, but I'm already done with the quest, so I'm not chasing that. But it's pretty cool. Game Master Nemzi is cool. There's definitely some type of Deathrattle Demon synergy there. It could probably be refined quite a bit. I just don't know the route that people should go with it. But yeah, in kind of cool synergy, Sketch Artist, Deadline, Eternal Layover for the Death Knight quest, which it means kill 200 minions with this, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. And then 2 more quests really quick. This one is really, really fun. I liked it. This was the most fun deck that I played of all the decks that I tried, and I would say it was relatively competitive. It is Big Demon Hunter, and this is built around this quest that you want to complete, which is Spirit Peddler. It's Rush, Deathrattle, reduce the cost of a random minion in your hand by 6. So this means that you can get a Window Shopper for free, and if you play a free Window Shopper, that means the demon you get off Window Shopper is also free. So it's really cool. Like, you imagine, even if you have 2 Spirit Peddlers in hand, you could kill off the first one, discount the second one, kill that off, discount another creature in your hand. It's wild. And it has a bunch of, it has a bunch of all this other cool stuff, like rush the stage to draw it, as well as return policy to discover that Deathrattle and use it again, even Sylvanas' Deathrattle. So this is a really cool deck. It's really fun. Give this a try. I had a good time playing it. And I think this can be modified and optimized in a different way to make it even better. And lastly, this is the one I hated the most. Agency. It's based around this card, Agency Espionage. Shuffle a card from each of the other class into your deck. They cost 1. The quest is to play like 100 agency cards or something ridiculous. That sucks to do. So this deck here, the whole idea is that you want to get to a turn 5 or 6 where you can discount Sonya and maybe a Scoundrel, or you need to discount Sonya and Agency Espionage through Sandbox Scoundrels or Bouncing Sandbox Scoundrel minis. So you don't have to discount Sonya, but the idea is like you play Sonya, you play the mini of Sandbox Scoundrel, so your next Agency Espionage costs 1. Then you play Espionage for 1. Then you play Espionage for 0. And then you use all the cards in your hand, or all the draw in your deck to draw all your 1-cost cards and play them, right? The problem is it's just too random. This quest sucked. I really hated it. There were cool times when I had like cool opportunities to win the games, but I really don't like that style of play. It's not linear. It's just too crazy, and sometimes you just cannot win. I think it was a pretty poor deck, but this is a pretty good build, I think. Give it a try. Anyway, that's all for the video today. I hope that's informative. I will do my best to try to complete the other quests before next week. So look forward to that. But good luck with your climb and your achievement grind. And if you had any kind of cool decks to help you with any of the achievements, please let me know. Show me in the chat. I would love to see what you guys are doing on your end. See you next time.